here we are, wind and all. Today we're going to be building a chicken tractor. It's basically a man-movable 12 chicken total capacity mobile coop. And this is your cut list right here. I'll try to remember to overlay your total material need in your lists in the video. But this is the basic design. That's the bed, the removable pull-out drawer bed with your two land boxes. That's the back view, and that is the watering system, which is basically an Aquamira 7-gallon water tank with watering nipples attached to it. So I've got all the materials pre-cut and ready to be used. Basically what you're looking at here is everything you're going to need. I'm using the Craig 2.5-inch outdoor rated pocket holes, Tight Bond Premium 2 wood glue, a pocket hole jig and drill bit, impact, drill, pencil, drill bit for the screws, tape measure, and the clamp for the pocket hole jig. So that's the design. Let me just show you basically the very first iteration of this before I drew plans for it. Here we go. So this is the basic idea. You've got a handle here to lift and move. This is obviously a lot of this is scrapped over from my very first one that fell apart because it was untreated wood and didn't last very long. But it was all scrap wood, the very first one. This one I rebuilt with good treated wood, and we just used basic 3-inch PVC, cut some holes in the lid, and that's where their food stays, and it flows all the way down to right there where they can bend down and eat from it. This is the Aquamira design. Don't judge my screening issues right here. I actually recently replaced this from my very first one because it was about 4 years old and it was dry rotted. So the next one I put in there, which I just did a few weeks ago, I painted. So that should help. But see, they got their water in there, and I just fill it with a 5-gallon bucket, and it's kind of probably got some poop in it, but yeah, I even have some eggs I need to pick. So you get the idea. For the siding on this side, I decided to go ahead and just reuse some old metal from a shed that got torn down near me. And yeah, I even have another egg here. So definitely a good idea to get some, I use 1/4-inch screening around the outside. That keeps out a lot of the bigger horseflies and stuff like that. Doesn't keep out mosquitoes, unfortunately. And yeah, that's what we're looking at so far. I'll bring you back when I get further along. Oh yeah, I want to just show you the watering system from down here. You can see, look, I'm just drinking from it right now. It's a little low to the ground for this side. That's why in the other design I changed it to be a little higher up for the chickens. So this is what we're looking at so far. Quick clip, 2 frames. That's the exterior frames. And now we do some pocket holes for the front crossbar. Goes this way. And the 4 crossbars for the roof that come this way. And they got one more back here that goes this way. Alright, you'll have to excuse the Daniel Tiger in the background, but we've got the basic frame done for the chicken tractor. You know, some things to note. We got the 38 inches, 38-inch bars going across the bottom. It's flush with the floor over here, but in the back you'll notice that it's about 1.5 inches off the ground. That way, if any silly chickens like to lay on the ground instead of in the roosting boxes, you can roll over the eggs and most of the time not crush them. Most of the time I'll just be safe and I'll crack that back door open and grab it out of the bottom before I roll over it, just in case. But a lot of times the chickens will end up digging a little hole, or they're sitting and lay in a low spot in the yard, and you can roll right over it. Some other things to note, they have this third bar up here, the different colored one. I ran out of materials, so obviously I know that that one's going to be hidden later on in the design when I put the T111 siding on. That one will be hidden anyway, so it doesn't matter that it doesn't look the same. It's still a pressure treated piece of lumber, so it'll work just fine. Anything else I need to cover? Obviously you can see I have the 6-inch diagonals going around the main part of the frame here, here, and here. That is just for the structural integrity, to make sure it doesn't tilt back and forth when you go ahead and lift it up to slide it out the way and reposition it in the yard. All right, I'll come back with you when I got some more progress. All right, we got the pull-out drawer roosting boxes made. We still have to put our handle on each side, and we have to put some screening in the actual roosting boxes that allows the debris to fall out of the bottom. It works pretty well. Yeah, that's about it. Just take note that whenever you're making this, you got to make sure you keep the dimensions proper. You know, obviously don't swap the boards there accidentally, because then it will not fit in your gap there. So just keep an eye on that, and I'll keep rolling on at this point. All right, I got you at a little bit of a different angle, but this wood is brand new. Just got it yesterday from Home Depot, so it's still very damp and still needs to shrink some, but I'm doing a little test fit. We just installed our runners here, these little 2x2 rails to hold the drawer up, and it looks like it's going to work just fine. Just fine. Obviously it doesn't have any of the things to hold it in a certain line right now, but soon to come. I'll come back with you in a little bit. All right, in the last clip you might have noticed I was having some trouble getting that thing in there. Well, this board right here was bowed slightly inward, and I think the other one had a slight bow to it as well. So when I installed these crossbars here, I made sure to give it a little extra to push out on it, and that did the trick. So we're going to reinstall the drawer without bumping the camera. Without bumping the camera, there we go. Get that in there. Now it's in the grooves and on the sliders down there. It slides in, and once I get the siding on, it'll be easier to guide it to the other side. Get it upside down, maybe. Sure do. So this 1x4 material, sorry for bumping the camera, it had some different dimensions. Some were a little taller than others, so I had to put that tall side on the top. And I still think I got it. I think I got it right now. Let's see. Again, it will be easier once the siding is on, but you see it slides in real nice and easy now. And this is another 2x2 that spans the distance. It keeps the bed from tilting up and down when you're sliding it in and out. And it also gives the chickens a nice additional roosting pole, and keeps the top of the drawer from getting all pooped up. And they'll have an additional roosting pole about here as well for sleeping at night. Okay? Bring you back when I got more to report. All right, so thanks to my lovely assistant, I was able to wrap up the framing portion of the chicken tractor today. I did make a little boo-boo in the plans, so if you read the plans and the cut list early on, refer to the link in the description, or I'll put an updated cut list in the video itself. So where I screwed up is I cut these too short. It should be 7.5 or 7 1/4 or something like that. Heck, I'll tell you right now. So it should be probably 7 1/4 would be perfect to make those made up right here and cause you a little less grief for your roosting poles. But that sucker's plenty strong. I reckon I can stand on it, so that's good. And then I did the same thing back here for their interior roosting pole. So yep, they got 2 roosting poles, one right here and one right here, and then the one in the front. 3 total roosting poles. Your water water will be back here. So the aqua mirror container needs about 15.5 to 16 inches of clearance, and then we got exactly 15.5. So that's great. It's gonna fit just fine. I test fitted it. You can see it over there. Door slides out in and out real good. So tomorrow I'll get to siding and putting the screen on and bring you back. All right, that's 1 second for you and 8 hours of blissful, numerously disturbed by 4 kids sleep. So goal for the day is to finish this sucker. So we're gonna have to put our siding on. We're gonna cut that to shape, and that's gonna go here and here and there and on the other side. And then we're gonna we're gonna leave this side and the other side off first, and then we're gonna screen it with our wire mesh, 1/4 inch wire, galvanized wire mesh on the sides and on the bottom down here, back down here, bottom down here, all 6 sides, all 4 sides, whatever. Yeah, and then we gotta put the final siding on, and then we're gonna put the handle here, as you can see back there, and food and water, and then we're done. All right, apologies for not picking you up sooner. I'm just on a roll and trying to get to a break for lunch. So we were just rolling. So I got some stainless steel hardware, 2 hinges here and here, stainless steel bolts right there, stainless steel handle. Okay, so that's all screwed in. I'll open it up for you so you can see a little more detail. Had to cheat because I have a squareness problem, so I have a board up here as my stop for the door to open. So you'll see I also have, I'm not sure if you can see this or not. Yeah, you can. So I have this board that runs along the bottom of the door. This plywood has a tendency to warp, so that helps that. And it also acts as a guide for our drawer to slide in and out of to keep it from popping out, just like the roosting pole does in there. So it's a little bit of a twofer. So as far as the holes go, obviously the bolts do come with a receptacle for it in here, but I find it's just easier to use a step drill and drill your hole right there to have the bolts go in. And then one last little cheat, if I'm being honest, is I put a screw right here so I can adjust the opening to keep the door from rattling, because these hinges are kind of rattly if the door is loose. So that keeps it nice and tight, a precise adjustment. And yeah, that gets what I need to get done. All right, coming around to the front side, you can see I already have a board attached. That's looking okay. Yeah, obviously you can't attach it to this side because there's nothing behind there. So you just do a good solid row at the bottom of screws and then another one at the top, and that holds it on just fine. So now I'm at the front attaching wire. You can see it's a little bit wavy, not that big of a deal really. But that's the end of my roll before I have to open a new pack. So I want to try and make use of it. So that's going on now. Definitely wear gloves. And I'm using a pneumatic stapler with 1-inch staples to hold that sucker on there. Okay, and I do have the other wall pieces cut and ready to be used. That's scrap, but I have one down here and one for my fans, my fan and tools and all that. That's for the 2 side panels. So that goes on after we do the wire mesh on the sides, because the wire mesh attaches to this 2x4 here, and we want to make sure that the panels cover that. Just looks nicer that way. Okay, I'll come back with you when I got some more progress. I do have roofing panels too. That's the very last thing that goes on, because trust me, it's a lot easier to stand up in there when you're 6'4" if there's no roof on the thing. All right, coming along nicely. We got rained out a couple of times, so it's nice and steamy out here, of course. I'm not real happy with how the wire mesh went on, but it is on and it looks decent enough through this lens. You get it at a different angle, it's not so pretty, so we'll just leave you right here. Got all the side panels installed. Next order of business, I think we're going to go ahead and throw the roofing on. That makes sense to me. And then after that, it's food system, water system, and the handle, and we are DUN done. Okay, I think I got everything covered. That wire mesh, man, it's just when it gets shipped, it gets all banged up throughout shipping because it's, it's a 60-pound, 4-foot long box. So, those drivers, they don't care for that. So they like to slam it around. The corners get all dented. You can do what you can to straighten it out, but in the end, it makes the mesh a little wavy. So you have to get some vice grips and clamp it on there real good and pull it and fight with it and then staple it. So that's what I did, and I'm done with that, thank goodness. I still have to do a little bit of wire work when I cut out the holes for the watering system and the food system, but for now, it's done. All right, we are back with the Polycarb roof. We selected that, and that's what I've been building on my coops. This is my 5th one now. Selected that because that sheet metal, oh my goodness, it's so sharp it'll slice you open, you won't even feel it. And I just don't like that sheet metal. You really have to kind of round the edges over so it's not a sharp point. And even after that, you still have sharp edges. It's just, yeah, the rooster wanted to chime in. You just don't like it. I don't like it. So that Polycarb roof, it's nice and lightweight, it's inexpensive, and it goes on really well. So I'm satisfied with it. You also notice I now have a handle, so I can move this thing around as I need it. Come on, another rooster crow. 3, 2, 1. There we go, and then the other one will do it in a few seconds again. That's my neighbor's chickens. They have the same design. You can kind of see it a little bit over that way. Anyway, they have 2 roosters right now, so I'm about to get one of those. All right, I'll come back with you when I got some food and water done, and then I'm done because I'm already done. I'm exhausted. Moving right along, we got the food. Last but not least is water. You can see I just prop it up on a brick, throw a couple bands of plumber's tape around it onto that 2x4, being sure to make sure I'm clear of the sliding drawer. And you can see I've got a baby chick in there right now. My eldest is playing with him. But yeah, come back with the finished product with the water in. It's just going to be right back there where that sun's shining. All right, I got to clean up a good bit out here, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the walk around because I'm extra done. Normally I would cut this off where the cap is down here, but I'm making this one for me, and I want the extra capacity, and I don't care if it looks like a diesel exhaust. So let it flow up high. That'll give me an extra day of food probably. So that's good. As it currently stands, you can probably get about 4 to 5 days of food out of that hopper right there. So that works really well. And you can see it's just held on there with the plumber's tape. Holds on pretty good. And another one up there. And then this just keeps the water out. I got to cut some reliefs on the side of that to allow it to open more easily. You can see I've caught 2 big chickens so far and 2 little chickens. There's your roosting pole and your handle. Everything's held together with them 2.5-inch outdoor rated Craig screws, Craig square head pocket hole screws. Same thing on this side, obviously. Much cleaner on this side without that feeder. I'll bring you around to the back. Oh, a fan. The bane of my YouTube videos. There we go. All right, so there's your watering system. It doesn't have the nipples installed on it yet. I gotta go throw those on there, but that can wait for now. That back door with the little strip on there, keep it straight. And yeah, that's just held on there. It's sitting on that 2x4 that goes vertically. Well, I guess it goes horizontally, but it's situated vertically. and it's just sitting on that and held on there with that plumber's tape, and I just trimmed around it with that oscillating tool, so no big critters get in there and get after my chickens. And here's you a look at the inside. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Happy with how it turned out overall. Everything's considered. And that's it. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. And happy building if you build one.